A warm welcome to the fast, the furious, and the downright curious. I'm Phil Lovett, and this is Bike Racing Without Mercy, my quest to win an e-cycling race on Zwift. Now today's going to be my second race on Zwift for YouTube, and I'm currently warming up in Watopia. And as ever, I'm in need of some inspiration. So I'm going in search of that from one of my personal bike racing heroines. So, to the gods of bike racing, I request motivation and enlightenment from... She's 50% of a pro cycling sisterhood, but oh so much more classy than a Kardashian. I'm a California dreaming of the Princess of Power, Miss Kendall Ryan. And in Kendall's honour, I shall today don an unnecessarily bling pair of bike racing sunglasses. However, today I shall be letting my greying locks of hair flow freely in the wind, the virtual wind, in my apartment of pain. Please be sure to check out Kendall's Twitter feed and research her a little bit on the interweb. But there you'll find she's an up-and-coming sprinter and has her heart set on Olympic gold in 2020. Now I personally came across Kendall for the first time when she slipstreamed her way to victory in stage 1 of the Tour of California 2018. And today I'm hoping that with inspiration from Kendall, I'm going to be hanging out in the premier Breakaway group for longer than last week, which was about halfway. And if I achieve that, well, let's see what happens.
Fueled on caffeine and inspiration from a bike racing heroine, I once again set my heart on staying with the Breakaway. Stay tuned to see how it pans out.
So just in the start pen, about to commence the Richmond Flats race at 9:05, all courtesy of Club 3R. Here we go. It's 34 kilometres.
Determined to learn the lessons of last week, I keep the power down to conserve energy at the start. And instantly, I start to get overhauled by other riders and have to apply some wattage as a swarm comes in from the opposite side. And I find myself up in the 500s, touching 600 to stay within the premier Breakaway group. Keeping my head down and the wattage high, I overinvest and of course I fly straight out the front, as you'll see now. Beautiful. A little bit of soft pedalling, noting my heart rate's already at the 167. Well done, Philip. And back come my adversaries, and up comes the power. Love the move from the guy in yellow.
Okay, that was a bit frantic. So I'm in the Premier Breakaway group.
Accidentally taking a turn on the front there.
Now looking to expend as little as possible energy.
Safely deposited within the bunch, shielded from the virtual air resistance. You can see it's a very long lead in.
And I forgot to mention, big congratulations to Theo Gegenhardt. Now he won his first ever pro cycling stage wins in the Tour of the Alps this week. And to do so, he had to see off extremely strong competition from none other than Vincenzo Nibali, multiple Grand Tour winner. So congrats to Theo. Now he and his teammates, including none other than Domestique Fantastique Chris Froome, also managed to pace to victory Pavel Sikov. And he won the general classification. So well done to Team Sky. Now I'm quietly confident that my own exploits today are not going to be, shall we say, quite as impressive as Team Sky's in the Tour of the Alps. Now try to find a nice rhythm, keep the heart rate nice and down. As said, I'm already at 167. And I also wanted to say good luck to Ella from my office. And she's doing her first ever marathon, the London Marathon today. So after the race, I'm hoping to get down into the crowd and cheer her on. We've been in the kind of 260 to 300 watt range. Two people have broken off the front, but it's not going to be me that chases them down.
Noting that there's a bit of a roundabout on the corner, I anticipate some extra power and apply accordingly. The threat didn't really materialise. Now some people are going off the front, and I think I commented on the bike that I'm certainly not going to be the one doing the chasing. My intent is to let some of the others reel them back in, and for me to hang out in the wheels, but still having to apply a bit of extra wattage to stay in the Premier Breakaway group as we haul them back in.
Mid 400s.
Actually quite a lot of wattage for me. So you can see at the bottom of the screen I had to invest quite heavily there. There's quite a large orange ready kind of peak in my wattage.
The brake is being contained. But my heart rate's already too high, so I need to bring it back down.
Cruising at 250 watts, but there is a sharp left-hander, so I'm anticipating an increase in power, and it soon materialises. But once again, it's relatively short-lived, very manageable. And the respite at 250 to 280 watts is going to allow me a little bit of recovery and a chance to bring the heart rate down a tad. Power spiking back up again. But not for any great length of time. And once again, it's well within my capabilities, which I have a much greater understanding of given the recent power surge training. A lovely little recovery in the low 200s. And then back to a more regular pace. And these little surges feel a lot better today. This is quite a big one, as we touch on 500 on a small incline.
Big surge there, because of the hill.
And people are hoping to see off some of the people in the breakaway. But really, the spike in power is too short-lived, and the group stays together.
Now the first lap's a bit longer because Zwift has a bit of a lead-in for the start of the first lap. You're still racing in that lead-in. Second lap, 9.4 km in.
The last 5 minutes has been very civilised indeed, and that's given me a chance to both recuperate and pamper myself, and in doing so, bring the heart rate back down a tad. But now it's time to put a bit more power down and see if we could drop anyone out the back, hopefully not me. As you can see, I'm valiantly staying in the wheels, doing everything in my power to avoid a turn on the front. The power surges have not been overly onerous. I know I've got 300 to 350 watts fully covered. Expecting a bit more power as we go into a tight turn, and duly rewarded. Small incline, I anticipate the power and go straight out the front. Now there's a little bit of danger emerging here as two riders break off the front and a couple more try to follow them. But I'm not good enough at this stage in my career to go after, so I decide to stay in the wheels, confident that there's enough numbers for us to gradually wheel them back. Hopefully confident, that is. There's not really enough of them in the breakaway group at the front there to make a big difference. A couple more are looking to bridge across to join them, but still, we've got the numbers, so I'm going to stay in the main group and just try and gradually wheel them back in. Again, shirking any real responsibility for a pull on the front. I decide to just stay in touch with the next group of riders who try and bridge across. And you can see at the very front, there's a little bit of bad temper because the better riders are trying to urge on their companions to push on a bit harder and break us. And one day I hope to be one of the better riders and doing some of the braking, but right now, hanging out in the bunch is where I need to be. And you can see now that they're not really getting away, and we're gradually reeling them in.
Our group has broken up the front, but we're gradually reeling them back. It's super hard. And I'm back on the front. But at what cost? 14.5 km. Kilometers in. Lap 3. Some welcome respite.
After 60 glorious seconds of relatively low intensity, we turn hard right and all apply the power through the pedals. The surge is relatively high, but as you'll see, short-lived. And once again, I get some recovery.
.2 km. It's a bit further than we got in the Premier Breakaway group last Monday, and hopefully you can see that despite the high heart rate, I'm feeling a bit fresher.
Now the surge of 350 for the last 30 seconds has been well within my operating capabilities. Once again, the frenzy abates quite abruptly and we're back down into the low 200s, allowing me to top back up the batteries. So much so that I find myself on the front. Something's got to be wrong if I'm taking a pull on the front. And the pace picks up ahead of the hard left before we hit the straight.
Getting ready to surge on the hairpin. Surging on the main straight into that 4. You can see I haven't got my drinking drills teed up yet. Just coming up to start the 5th lap on the main straight. Try to still conserve energy by not going on the front. Just under 10k to go. So I just got a bike upgrade, Specialized. Thank you very much. In honour of Borough Hanscraft, Peter Sagat, Daniel Oss, legends of the bike racing fraternity. Right, coming up for the 6th and final lap, I'm going to record all of it. It's going to get harder.
Remaining vigilant, people breaking off the front, and I elect to stay close to their wheels, but avoid overextending myself to stay amongst them. With 9.8 watts per kilogram. Now I elect not to follow directly, but to hang out in the breakaway group, expecting our greater numbers to reel Sea Shatsman back in. And I guess this is where my current lack of racecraft and race awareness comes into play. Because I did actually think that we had reeled Sea Shatsman back in.
One and a half kilometres to go. Absolutely knackered.
It's time to invest. I deploy my aero boost to give me a helping hand and start to pedal furiously. But as you see, my pace of acceleration is glacial. others are putting down some really big power, 9, 10, 11 watts a kilogram. And I really do think I need to evaluate my strategy of staying seated and having a more efficient pedal stroke versus the bigger power you can put down when standing on the pedals.
All in, but very happy. So I've had a little moment to get my breath back and downloaded Zwift Companion and checked out my racing stats. And over the 34.5 kilometres, I averaged 276 watts and 4.1 watts a kilogram, placing third in the Cat A's, which I'm super happy about. And also, very intriguingly, the person who came fourth is called D. Vuelmeyer, which is a bit of a coincidence because my middle name is De Villemil. Anyway, we both got beaten very handsomely by a whole bunch of the Cat B's, I think 12 of them. So clearly, a huge amount of room for improvement for me. Which brings me on to Kendall Ryan. Kendall, thank you very much for your inspiration, and as I tried to impart during the final sprint, I am sorry for the quality of my sprint. Had it been anything like yours, my placings would have been hugely improved. So, this has been Bike Racing Without Mercy, and I've been shown very little mercy indeed. But, whoever you are, and whatever you do, please remember to live, thrive, and subscribe.